Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Thank you for tuning into another Supatease video. And here, moving into Shadowlands, I've been trying to get creative. I've been trying to have some fun with some different compositions, a wide variety, and really experimenting, as it seems like 9.1 is pretty far away. And with this MMR crunch or MMR change that's supposed to be coming in on Tuesday, I just wanted to have some fun and try out some new and interesting things. So in this particular video, I am running the Shadow Priest Balanced Druid Holy Paladin, and I had a lot of fun with this composition. Surprisingly, it does a lot of consistent damage. It has good burst. It has nice utility. And one of the main reasons that I like it is the utility and movement that this composition can provide you with Typhoon and Life Grip. And this game in particular is going to highlight how fun that is to play around and how you can use it to have some success in your games as well. On this map here, we're going to be fighting Retribution Paladin, Frost Death Knight, Discipline Priest. A lot of these Rep Paladin teams just like running at your healer. So you're going to need to help guide your healer and protect your healer in these matchups. So using Typhoon and Life Grip is going to be very important. At the start of this game, I like just running immediately into their faces. This is to try and deter them from running onto my Paladin. I'll use Solar Beam on the healer, root the Death Knight, and then try and tell my Paladin, hey, the Rep Paladin is popping their cooldowns. We can see that with Seraphim here active next to the frame. This yellow icon, this is all of their cooldowns. I'm telling my Paladin, this is the scariest moment in the game. Don't be worried to bubble. And you can see the damage is coming in very rapidly onto my Paladin, and they opt to use their Divine Shield. So if you have eyes on cooldowns like Avenging Wrath, you want to communicate that to your teammates. Let them know, hey, a lot of damage is coming. So that way when it hits, they'll be more than ready for it. Then in this position, I tell my Paladin, hey, you're running into a really weird spot. It's hard for us to keep up. I tell him to go back up on top of the bridge. This is going to be a much more advantageous position with things like Typhoon. I use Disorienting Roar to prevent their advance towards my Paladin. And you got to think of this as just like blocking them away. You're playing defense, you're pushing the melee DPS as much as you can away, utilizing Cyclone on their path back to your Paladin. And when they're in a stun, this is Hammer of Justice, you want a Cyclone DPS, and then I opt to use Incarnation and Convoke to counter aggress right at their moment of highest damage output to try and scare them or potentially kill them. Then I tell my Paladin to go to the edge of the bridge, and this is where the fun part of this composition comes in. You can knock your opponents off the edges of Z-axis. Obviously, Blade's Edge is a great one for that. Dalaran Sewers, Mugambala. There's actually quite a few maps in particular that this tactic will be very effective, but I think Blade's Edge has always been the staple for it. Then while they're just in total disarray running back up the ramp, you start attacking all three targets. You really just rot them down and blast them. Here I utilize Thorns on my Paladin when they're low health to try and deter them from attacking, but we saw that Hammer of Justice here on my Paladin, and this situation here where we're both in crowd control, a fear on both of us, and a stun on our Paladin, this can cost us the game because we all used our Gladiator's medallions in that same moment. You really want to avoid using your Gladiator's medallions at the same time, as these are very important for just surviving during those Hammer of Justice. That is a big mistake you don't want to make yourself that we end up making here. But after that, I tell my Paladin, time to go to the edge. It's time to make them go for a ride. They try and deter it and stall it as much as they can by using this blinding light, but I can get into a position here where I can knock them off. And you can also utilize Mind Control, although Mind Control is still currently bugged, which means that it may have a chance to just completely lag out the enemy, and then they start just kind of teleporting around. It's really awkward. So you usually want to avoid Mind Control unless you absolutely have to. But then again, while they're coming back on top of the bridge, you can start attacking all three targets. Whenever you see Hammer of Justice, you want to just spam Regrowth on your healer, use Cyclone, root the DPS. I use Wild Charge root on the Paladin. I Cyclone the Death Knight. I tell my Priest also, hey, let's help the Paladin. I'll use Thorns on the Paladin to try and again deter them from attacking and try and get time for my Paladin to reposition. Now in this position, we're going to use the Life Grip. My Paladin jumps off the side, the enemies chase him, and then we pull him back up to the top. And you can see even with these tactics, it's still a pretty stressful matchup. But then once the Rep Paladin gets back to the top, I knock the Rep Paladin back down. So if you don't like melee cleaves, this is a really fun composition against them. Although this match in particular gets really dicey in a couple of seconds. It's just a lot of fun to kind of just toss them around. Now, while they're not connected onto the Paladin, your main focus is just get damage onto whatever you can. Run the Discipline Priest out of mana. That's the main win condition when facing a Discipline Priest. But here we see that yellow icon, and we used all of our medallions earlier. And look at this, we all get CC'd. This is their best setup. This is the highest likelihood of getting a kill because of our medallion usage earlier. I try and save it with a high mountain stun, just YOLO off the side for a quarter stun, and I try and Cyclone. But even with the Cyclones, and as much as we've tried to stop it, because of their good crowd control, it wasn't enough. But they make the mistake then of also stacking up for triple Psychic Scream, and we kill their Ret Paladin at the same time. So now when it's a 2v2 and you've got no healer, the main thing you want to do is avoid damage. I don't want to be attacking right now as much as possible. I should have been line of sighting. This mind games that hits me actually almost kills me. And the main reason you don't want to be attacking is because you don't have crowd control. So you just want to be running. I use my Nightface Soul Shape, actually a Shadow Word Death tier to 200 HP or something, 180 HP. Go Bear Form, Frenzy Regen. My main goal here is to just run away from the Death Knight, get the Death Knight off of me, wait for my Shadow Priest to get their Psychic Horror, get their Mind Games, because that's our highest likelihood to actually kill something with a healer. And the advantage that I have as a Druid is mobility. I won't go 1-for-1 with this Death Knight just standing in front of him trying to cast him. It's just not going to happen. So I'm going to try and use all of that mobility that we saw earlier, the Typhoon, shifting into Travel Form, using my Soul Shape. But then they end up using this weird Death Grip thing where I got Death Grip, but he got Life Grip, so I just traded places. I like that. And then my main goal is just recover, heal. My Shadow Priest is going to try and do all the heavy lifting while I just run around in circles, basically. Whenever you're in a situation like this where you're double DPS 2v2. Now the Death Knight's kind of off of me, so I'm thinking about getting in there. I've got my Gladiator's Medallion, Incarnation's coming up, so I'll activate Thorns and I'll Root Beam the healer. The healer doesn't want to sit this, and now we've got an opening with Incarnation coming up in 3 seconds and Convoke available. So I'm happy getting the Trinket. I'm just going to line the Priest. I'm going to go into Bear Form, Frenzy Regen when I dip low, try and Travel Form, ask for Life Grip, and then Wild Charge out of range of the Death Grip. And again, this allowed me to avoid the Abomination's Limb, that green little animation on the Death Knight. That's the scariest moment against the Death Knight player at the moment in PvP, so you don't want to be anywhere near it. But then when I get out of range, I go for Incarn Convoke. Unfortunately, he saves his sprint to actually outrange it, but with Incarnation still up, I can do a lot of damage, and I say just attack into barrier at this point. Their Priest has no mana. If the Death Knight leaves it, if we're keeping pressure up, they'll die. And here I'll just Trinket the stun. They're very low health at this point. The Death Knight isn't able to connect to me. I'm still kind of worried about that Mind Games. That's the #1 ability that will kill you as a balanced druid, so I'm max ranging their Priest, and I'm avoiding Mind Games at all costs. Here I make the mistake of Typhooning into Death's Advance. It was that purple icon. It made the Death Knight immune to knockbacks. You don't want to do that. A big mistake there. And so you want to pay attention to that while you're playing if there's a purple icon. But while I rooted the Death Knight, I get back up to the center bridge, stun, silence, Mind Games with a couple of Star Surges, take the Priest down. And then at this point, just trade your cooldowns. You're likely to win at this point. I don't think it's going to be recoverable for them. But I really, really, really enjoyed this composition a lot more than I first had expected to. And I've been playing a lot of stuff at the moment. I've been trying to make it work with a Hunter. Wasn't able to really make it work. I still want to try with a Beast Mastery Hunter. But with the Shadow Priest, it's really good into the hybrids, like the Ret Paladins, the Enhancement Shamans that are very prevalent. So if you're looking for something to climb, I think like I tanked my Druid's rating to like 2100. With this, we climbed back to 2500 in one day. It was really good to counter the melee cleaves, especially the ones with Ret Paladins and Enhancement Shaman, like I said. So if you're looking for something different, if you're looking for something that can deal with a lot of the current powerful compositions or popular compositions, I'm thinking like Ret Paladin Warrior, Ret Paladin DK even. I'm starting to see Ret Paladin Demon Hunter. There's a ton of this. Warrior Death Knight. There's a lot of these double melee DPS. If you utilize these tactics, like the Typhoon and the Life Grip, and then save your off healing with Shadowman and Regrowth when your healer is in a stun, and trade defensive cooldowns and call out offensive cooldowns for your team, then you're going to start to have a lot of success. And if you want to see me doing that in real time, show that I'm like, well, I'm walking the walk, I'm not just talking the talk, you can follow me on twitch.tv/Supatease. You can follow me on Twitter too if you need a meme or you need a laugh. I'm always uploading memes there. And if you want to follow me on Instagram, instagram.com/supacasting. And you can follow my weight loss journey. I actually just lost 100 pounds. So if you'd like to follow along with that and see how my progression is going now in the gym, you can follow me there. Other than that, thank you very much for watching this video. I hope that it was helpful to you. If it was, like the video, subscribe to the channel. It's absolutely free. It just lets you know when my videos go live. So if you want to check out any new and interesting compositions or strategies that I come across, you'll just be notified in real time when that happens if you're subscribed. So other than that, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.